Hello everybody, and welcome once again to the Church of the Most High. This is Nickelbag speaking, and we are broadcasting to you live on this Wednesday, March 11th, 2026, bringing you the scriptures live, raw and uncut, the way the good Lord meant it to be. We begin our program as usual with a reading from the book of Proverbs, so we are going to get right into that. In the name of JEHOVAH ALLAH, most gracious, most merciful. The book of the Proverbs of the Kings of Israel, chapter 11. A false balance is abomination to JEHOVAH ALLAH, but a just weight is his delight. When pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright shall deliver them, but transgressors shall be taken in their own naughtiness. When a wicked man dieth, his expectation shall perish, and the hope of unjust men perisheth. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked cometh in his stead. An hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered. When it goeth well with the righteous, the city rejoiceth, and when the wicked perish, there is shouting. By the blessing of the upright the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. He that is void of wisdom despiseth his neighbor, but a man of understanding holdeth his peace. A talebearer revealeth secrets, but he that is of a faithful spirit concealeth the matter. Where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. He that is surety for a stranger shall smart for it, and he that hateth suretyship is sure. A gracious woman retaineth honor, and strong men retain riches. The merciful man doeth good to his own soul, but he that is cruel troubleth his own flesh. The wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that showeth righteousness shall be a sure reward. As righteousness tendeth to life, so he that pursueth evil pursueth it to his own death. They that are of a froward heart are abomination to JEHOVAH ALLAH, but such as are upright in their way are his delight. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman which is without discretion. The desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. There is that scattereth, and yet increaseth, and there is that withholdeth more than is meet, but attendeth to poverty. The liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that watereth shall be watered also himself. He that withholdeth corn, the people shall curse him, but blessing shall be upon the head of him that selleth it. He that diligently seeketh good procureth favor, but he that seeketh mischief, it shall come unto him. He that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind, and the fool shall be servant to the wise of heart. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he that winneth souls is wise. Behold, the righteous shall be recompensed in the earth, much more the wicked and the sinner. And once again, that is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11. Our next reading is from the book of Psalms. We are at Psalm 33, and this is the point in the show where I like to make mention that this cycle, the chronological progression of the readings from Proverbs 10 to Proverbs 11, tomorrow will be 12. Psalm yesterday was 32, today 33, tomorrow 34, and so on and so forth. This was set in motion over 2 years ago, and I mentioned that because I wanted to make it clear that I don't plan this ahead of time. I don't sit here and, figure out what I'm going to say tomorrow on the show. I certainly didn't figure it out 2 years ago, how this was going to read and what passage was going to fall on what day. And a lot of times these passages do line up. The reading from the Quran will be reflected in the Gospel. The reading from the other book will be reflected in Proverbs, and so on and so forth. And that's always amazing because, again, I didn't put this in any kind of intentional motion. It was sort of what most people would consider random, a random choice of where to start, and then I just kept going from there. But there's nothing random in this world. JEHOVAH ALLAH is in control of it all. So it might seem random to most, but for me, it was allowing the Lord to choose for me. And that said, oftentimes these passages not only reflect one another, the readings don't mirror each other or complement each other, but they also describe in detail some of the things that are going on in the world around us, things that are in the world news, the local news, things that happen just kind of one-on-one as I go about my day. And it will do the same for you. If you follow along with us and your heart is open to the Lord and you trust in the Lord, you will begin to see these things in your personal life. As you walk through the store, you'll see these scenes acted out by regular people with a modern twist, obviously. But you'll see the passages reflected in the news and in nature. There's been instances where the reading involved whirlwinds and tempest winds, and there was 3 readings in those days, and the other reading also a tempest wind, and tornadoes began to touch down all around me. You could hear the weather alert in the TV in the room next to me. That was Bucks County in 2019. Bucks County 2021. And it continues to be like that all the time, often. Just recently we had instructions on how to throw a party in the book of Ecclesiastes 2 days before the Super Bowl, where everybody here in America has a party. And it's good instructions because you don't need it the day of the party or the day after the party. You need to set that up beforehand. So it's quite amazing. So I pray the Lord opens your eyes and it makes these things manifest to you as well. And it draws you closer and reassures you that He's with you and that He's in control of everything. He's in control of your thoughts. He's in control of your emotions and your actions. He's in control of nature, the animals around us. He's in control of it all. And I pray that He reassures you all of that. So now, without any more spiel, the book of Psalms, Psalm number 33. Rejoice in Jehovah, O ye righteous, for praise is comely for the upright. Praise Allah Yahweh with harp. Sing unto Him with the psaltery, and an instrument of 10 strings. Sing unto Him a new song. Play skillfully with a loud noise. For the word of JEHOVAH ALLAH is right, and all His works are done in truth. He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of Allah Yahweh. By the word of JEHOVAH ALLAH were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of His mouth. He gathered the waters of the sea together as a heap. He layeth up the depth in storehouses. Let all the earth fear Allah Yahweh. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of Him. For He spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. JEHOVAH ALLAH bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is JEHOVAH ALLAH, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. Allah Yahweh looketh from heaven, he beholdeth all the sons of men. From the place of his habitation he looketh upon all the inhabitants of the earth. He fashioneth their hearts alike, he considereth all their works. There is no king saved by the multitude of an host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. A horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Behold, the eye of JEHOVAH ALLAH is upon them that fear and respect him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death, and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waiteth for JEHOVAH ALLAH. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name. Let thy mercy, O Yahweh, be upon us, according as we hope in thee. Excuse me, and once again, that was the book of Psalms, Psalm number 33. And we go into our next reading. Our third reading is a reading from the Quran. We read out of the New Translation by M.A.S. Abdul Halim from Oxford World Press. I read out of this version because I believe it is the most correct version we have in the English language. The Quran is written as a poem, although it is much, much more than a poem. It's sung in the Arabic. When it's recited, it's beautiful to hear. But when translated to English, the format that it takes, the column format in its original tongue, when it's written, doesn't really hold very well in English in the columns. The rhymes break down. There's no more rhyming. The subject gets chopped up. It's hard to follow. But this version is written in a paragraph form so that it's easy for the English reader to follow the subject and take the message to heart. So let's get into that. In the name of JEHOVAH ALLAH, most gracious, most merciful. The Quran, Surah number 107. Al-Ma'un, common kindness. Friends, have you considered the person who denies the judgment? It is he who pushes aside the orphan and does not urge others to feed the needy. So woe to those who pray but are heedless of their prayer. Those who are all show and forbid common kindnesses. Once again, that was the Quran, Surah 107, Al-Ma'un, common kindnesses. And you see these people oftentimes hypocrites, you know what I mean? People that are all show and forbid common kindnesses. Don't be one of those who forbid common kindnesses, common courtesy. It's not very becoming. Now, our next reading is from the book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes is found in the Old Testament immediately after the book of Proverbs. So, we're going to get right into that in just a second. The book of Ecclesiastes was said to be written by King Solomon, the wisest king in Israeli history. Quite frankly, the wisest king that I know of in world history, that in legend or folklore or any of that, there isn't any wiser that I've heard of. And so let's get into that. You judge for yourself if a wise man wrote this. In the name of JEHOVAH ALLAH, most gracious, most merciful. The book of Ecclesiastes, also known as Kohelet, the preacher, chapter 8. Who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. I counsel thee to keep the king's commandment, and that in regard to the oath of God. Be not hasty to go out of his sight. Stand not in an evil thing, for he doeth whatsoever pleaseth him. Where the word of a king is, there is power. And who may say unto him, What doest thou? Whoso keepeth the commandment shall fear no evil thing. And a wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment. Because to every purpose there is time and judgment, therefore the misery of man is great upon him. For he knoweth not that which shall be. For who can tell him when it shall be? There is no man that hath power over the spirit to retain the spirit, neither hath he power in the day of death. And there is no discharge in that war, neither shall wickedness deliver those that are given to it. All this have I seen, and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another to his own hurt. And so I saw the wicked buried, who had come and gone from the place of the holy, and they were forgotten in the city where they had so done. This is also vanity. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Allah, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked. Neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before his God. There is a vanity which is done upon the earth, that there be just men unto whom it happeneth according to the work of the wicked. Again, there be wicked men to whom it happeneth according to the work of the righteous. I said that this is also vanity. Then I commended mirth, because a man hath no better thing under the sun than to eat and to drink and to be merry. For that shall abide with him of his labor the days of his life, which Allah giveth him under the sun. When I applied my heart to know wisdom, and to see the business that is done upon the earth, for also there is it neither day nor night seeth sleep with his eyes, then I beheld all the work of Allah, that a man cannot find out the work that is done under the sun, because though a man labor to seek it out, yet he shall not find it. Yea, further, though a wise man think to know it, yet he shall not be able to find it. And that was the end of chapter 8 of the book of Ecclesiastes. I want to go back here. We're just going to give the warning right now. This line here about the sentence against an evil work not being executed speedily. Therefore, the hearts of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. There is a problem in the United States of America and around the world, and it's called pedophilia. And recently, for some reason, people in places of authority have decided that it's not a good idea to execute these fucking sickos. That a person can rape a child and abuse a child and rip a child open, and even go as far as to murder children sometimes and get away with it, and still not fear any real repercussions. They go to jail where they're fed and they're given life-saving medication. They're given insulin, they're given penicillin, they're given heart medicine, they're given anything you could imagine to prolong their life, and meanwhile the child stays at home hurt, sick, wishing they would die, afraid that this molester is going to come back and get them. There's a massive supervolcano underneath the west coast of the United States. underneath Yellowstone National Park. That's the scientific term. It's underneath the continent. Every year, the continent raises above sea level 3 inches above sea level. The continent swells underneath of it. And until we do something about our pedophiles, until we reenact capital punishment for these fucking sickos, the Lord is going to hang that over our heads until it eventually pops. And it will pop. Mark my word. It is over 100 years due to erupt, like I said, meaning it should have erupted 100 years ago. And every year it does not erupt. Every day, every second it does not erupt. The pressure mounts up and builds up so that when it does erupt, it'll be a more powerful explosion. The scientists estimate that it'll take out 1/3 of the continent as it is today. As it stands today, 1/3 of the continent will be destroyed in the first second of this thing's explosion. Then there's the aftermath with the soot and the ashes settling back down onto the ground, being expelled into the atmosphere. Complete catastrophe and pandemonium. And the longer they let it go, the worse it gets. Mankind's best hope is to detonate some kind of bomb over top of it and pop it early. But that's still going to leave 30% of the continent destroyed. If you don't do that, even more will be destroyed. But that's obviously not a very feasible option, considering you'd have to evacuate the entire west coast of the United States. There is no other science, there is no technology that's going to prevent this from erupting. There is no technology, there is no science at all to fix that. The only thing that's going to fix that is JEHOVAH ALLAH. And he will not help us. He will not send Jesus to save us or anybody or anything to prevent that from exploding until we do our part to rid the earth of these sick fucking pedophiles. Capital punishment is the only way to destroy this, is the only way to fix this, the only remedy. Death. You don't put roaches in a cage and feed them and give them medicine and then release them back into your home stronger than they were before. That's not going to fix your bug problem. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men is fully set on them to do evil. You've been warned again, plainly. Take care of the fucking problem. Our next reading is from the Gospel according to St. Luke. We are at chapter 15. It is the third Gospel in the New Testament. And we are at the third Gospel in the New Testament, the third book of the New Testament. When we left off, Jesus was talking about someone going to war and not doing a proper count to see if they can handle the war. And he said you have to put God first. He said you have to hate your father and your mother and your wife. And he didn't really mean you have to hate them and loathe them and despise them. What Jesus is trying to get across there is that you put God first above everything else in your life. You put God before your father. You put God before your child. You put God before your job. You put God before your own needs. And if you're not able to do that, then you really aren't like fit to be one of Jesus's disciples. You're not you'd be good to go to church on Sunday, you know what I mean? But you're not really built for the hardcore type shit. So that said, chapter 15, in the name of Jehovah Allah, most gracious, most merciful, the book of the gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 15. Then drew near unto him all the publicans and sinners for to hear him. And the Pharisees and scribes murmured, saying, This man receiveth sinners, and eateth with them. And he spake this parable unto them, saying, What man of you, having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doth not leave the 99 in the wilderness, and go after that which is lost, until he find it? And when he hath found it, he layeth it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And when he cometh home, he calleth together his friends and neighbors, saying unto them, Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep which was lost. I say unto you that likewise joy shall be in heaven over one sinner that repenteth, more than over 99 just persons which need no repentance. Either what woman having 10 pieces of silver, if she lose one piece, doth not light a candle, and sweep the house, and seek diligently till she find it? And when she hath found it, she calleth her friends and her neighbors together, saying, Rejoice with me, for I have found the piece which I had lost. Likewise, I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of Allah over one sinner that repenteth. And he said, A certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of the goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together, and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him, and had compassion, and ran, and fell on his neck, and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven, and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost, and is found. And they began to be merry. Now his elder son was in the field, and he came and drew nigh to the house. He heard music and dancing, and he called one of the servants, and asked what these things meant. And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. And he was angry, and would not go in. Therefore his father came out, and entreated him. And he answering said to his father, Lo, these many years do I serve thee, neither transgressed I at any time thy commandment, and yet thou never gavest me a kid, that I might make merry with my friends. But as soon as this thy son was come, which hath devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. For this thy brother was dead, and is alive again, and was lost, and is found. And once again, that was the Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 15. And that concludes the broadcast for today. I hope everybody gained a little bit from that. I hope everybody was brought a little closer to God with a little bit deeper of an understanding of things. Never judge somebody when they come back to the church. It's not really good to judge them when they fall away from the faith, but certainly when they, come back and start walking the right path, don't judge them, accept them, and welcome them. And if they turn again and, betray you with treachery or something, then, death be upon them, I guess, but don't take that into your own hands, obviously. So, let me give you the blessing. You got the warning already. Let me give you the blessing and we can go. Allah Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. JEHOVAH ALLAH cause the face to shine upon thee and be gracious toward thee. Hashem lift up the countenance upon you and give you peace. Naranjarnos, friends. Till next time, God bless you. Assalamualaikum. Shalom. Stay lit.